3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. We are live on your Cosmic Connection, and my name is Kristina, and this is Jen. And we will talk today about herbalism and the spiritual meaning beyond the herbs.
Yes.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, I'm excited. Thank you.
Hi. So please tell us who you are and who you are, where you're coming from, and then we'll dive into the herbalism.
My name's Jen. I go by Junebug. It's a nickname my grandmother gave me. I was raised on her farm when I was a little kid in Ohio. And my grandmother and my great-grandmother were clairvoyant herbalists. And so I didn't know any different as to using herbs instead of medicine to heal until we moved here to Arizona in the 70s. So I kind of have a deep history of knowledge without even knowing I had a deep history of knowledge of it. When I got out of it and then it came back into my life, I realized, oh, I was supposed to be doing this all along. But my great-grandmother and my grandmother were both very intuitive people. I can remember pulling a little wagon behind me while we were walking to the nearest farm, which was probably like 5 miles from our farm, with a wagon full of different kinds of concoctions. And I always just assumed my grandmother spoke with our neighbors to find out what they needed. Years later, I found out that she just intuitively would make certain things and know what household would need what. Because back then they didn't have a phone.
True.
You know, when you're a little kid, you don't really know that stuff. But
Right, so it all came to you naturally.
Yeah, and I questioned it in the beginning when we moved out here, just because I really didn't have the education base as an accredited school or that. But I realized that even my own intuitive feelings around herbs, the honoring of herbs, the praying for our herbs, for Mother Nature, just setting intention and using crystals and just really honoring and preparing them in the kindest way possible is just natural to me. And it just fell into my lap again when I was in my mid-30s, and I just took it and started using it to help more than just my family and myself.
So you've been connected with herbs since you were a kid, and kind of brought you back in the loop.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Because the herbs are, people think like nature is just whatever, green leaves and whatnot, but they don't understand it's like they're living beings.
They are, and they hear you and they respond to you, and that's why if you have an aversion to a specific herb, there's probably 100 other herbs that do similar healing, and there's always options. Mother Gaia, she made all of these different plants around the world that have similar healing properties, and it's just amazing to just keep discovering those.
Okay, so the first question was for me to ask you, it was how and when did you get into herbalism? And
the first time when I was just absorbed into it. The second time I got really sick when I was about 36, and I went the Western route and I did all of the medicine and the specialist, and I even went to an infectious disease doctor who had me spraying diluted bleach on my body for an infection that I had. And
oh my God.
Yeah, and I look back at that specifically and go, I think that something's gone wrong. And that was actually the straw that broke my back. And that I just, something happened where I needed to heal myself. And I just went and did a 30-day water and lemon and herbal fast. And all of the infections that I had on my body and my gut health and all of that healed. Now, I am a big woman, but I am a healthy woman. I know that's an oxymoron to some, but my my family history, us Swartz women, we all look and are built the same, but we're all strong and have longevity and all this beautiful herbs in our lives. I think that is definitely paid off for what we're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. Especially for me. Yep.
I think if you're speaking about the size, it's like kind of like just general conditioning of the society.
Agreed.
Like to being skinny means healthy, but not necessarily. It all depends on your metabolism and bone structure and density and all that stuff. And everyone's so unique. And
I was always told that I was a workhorse, and so I'm the muscle. So I kind of always took that and roll with it. Like I played all kinds of sports. My last sports that I did was roller derby, and I did very well in it.
What is roller derby?
Oh, you don't know what roller derby is? A sport on skates, 4 wheels, not this rollers blades they have now. And you're basically trying to pass to score, and in the process, it's kind of like a mix between skating on 4 wheels and hockey.
Oh, okay.
Without technically having more than one person that can score. You got one person that can score.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look it up.
Roller derby. Here you go.
It's pretty intense.
That's so cool.
It's a great way to get your aggression out.
Right? Instead of again going back to like medicine and everything, because in a modern day society, if you are stressed, angry, you have unprocessed emotions, traumas coming up, bad emotions are considered, as the name says, bad emotions. But all emotions, all the spectrum of emotions are given us for a reason, for us to experience a human life.
Right.
And then if you have like a depression or something, instead of tapping in of the core of the reason why you're feeling that way, here's the antidepressant, here's all the synthetic drugs to suppress your nervous system and the whole glands and everything, all the systems basically suppressing it, and but it doesn't solve the problem.
No,
it just numbs it, and it comes out. Effects, and it comes out at some point when you're like hitting crisis or something.
Absolutely,
it digs up. No matter how deep you bury it comes up, and you know.
I mean, we all have trauma and we all have different ways of dealing with it, but you're absolutely correct. Like SSRIs, some people, I understand, have to be on them. Just know what your side effects are from them, because like you're saying, unprocessed trauma is just building behind the scenes, and that's just very dangerous, because then that's when disease starts storing.
Right. And then speaking of like synthetic medicine and herbs, because people, I think now again, we're in such a modern society with electronics and technology, and everything is like created for us, and people forget really, like, or never ask themselves a question, where do we come from?
Right.
And we do come from the nature.
Right.
Unless, there's theories that Pleiadians implanted us on the earth, but still, we're part of the nature. The way human body was created, everything, as you were saying, in Mama Gaia has specific herbs for specific misalignments in our bodies. And
absolutely.
So kind of like that, going back to that thought that we do come from the nature, whatever we need is in the nature, but I'm going to plug in the conspiracy theory part where when you get stuff from the nature, it's free. Right. If you go to the woods and you know what herbs to pick, it's free, and the big corporations cannot make any money on it.
Right.
And that's why there's goes brainwash that no, that's alternative medicine. That should be the medicine,
Yeah, and it was the original medicine.
Exactly. But then, then women who were harvesting the herbs and healing people and working with energy.
Right.
Back in the days, they were considered those witches, right? That they were born on, burned on fire and stuff. Right. And again, taking away the creative power and the divine feminine and everything that is connected to nature.
It's a shame, our family, I don't always share all of the clairs that my grandmother and great-grandmother had, but they definitely consider themselves green witches. And it took me a lot of years to process that. I still don't call myself that actively, but if it's a Mother Gaia and you're working with herbs, I am definitely creating a harmonious blend for either a specific issue someone's having or something that multiple people can benefit from. And I've built this business up for the last 5 years because I wasn't in business, but I was selling. And now that I'm in business, it's very hard for me to just give somebody something without knowing like what all is going on with them, because I don't like giving you a band-aid. It's not in my nature to just quiet the symptom. It's very important, and I have a science mind. I don't have a science degree, but I have a very curious science mind as to why this does this, why does this work, why does this side effect negate, or why does this herb have exponentially, like someone who's on gabapentin who wants to take an herb that I just blended for pain, especially neuropathy, they have to take that only at nighttime because the herb enhances the power of GABA, both in a good way, but then that requires you to rest, and it'll make you sleep hard. The herbal blend that I made is like the equivalent of morphine without any addictive side effects. And people with neuropathy and type 2 diabetes is rampant, and neuropathy is just going to happen if it's not under control. So people who are going on metformin, Ozempic, and all those, if I would ask and that you be your advocate, your own advocate, and you find out what the side effects are, especially metformin and your liver. Just very important that if you are on these Western medicines, because the reality is sometimes it's required because your body is at a certain state, and you can work with herbs, but you have to have someone who knows how to pair them without the interaction causing more issues. But just be aware of what the side effects are, because if you can negate the side effects with maybe a liver tincture that I make or a kidney supplement, that'll save your kidney organ and your liver organ and your gallbladder. And I do have a few clients that are on metformin and do take these other organ supplements that I make with herbs, and their liver enzymes and their kidney functions are better off because of it.
Here we go. Yeah, because I mean, synthetic drugs, they're all created just for the profit. They're not interested for people really to heal. And then when in commercials they show all these happy people running around, and then in the fine print, side effects, suicide, diarrhea, all that stuff. And it's like everyone thinks it's just a norm. It's like, okay, doing that, and then you pop one pill on top of another, and you think you're gonna be fine, but you're not, because you need to go for the core reason. The same thing, like digging it deeper, and there's like a lot of spiritual and psychological aspects pop in, where let's say when you have diabetes, right, it could be genetic, or let's say my dad, he got his type 2 diabetes like 5 years ago, and when I track it back, he left my mom, they're I guess they're separated, and he moved back to Russia, and he was very, I'd say, lonely. And diabetes is the insulin, and everything is the if you plug in a spiritual perspective, insulin is the love for the body, the sugar, all that stuff. So why do we eat sweets and sugar? Because we're lacking the love.
We're comforting a certain loneliness within our heart, within our body, and then it holds history in that, definitely. And it's good that you plug that spiritual part in, because you're absolutely correct. Insulin is when the body's pancreas gets exhausted, it starts pumping the insulin in the bloodstream. And one of the insulin that you take that's Western, that's synthetic, and when you shoot it into your body, you're putting more into the body of what is already in the blood, instead of us taking a step back and looking at, let's clean the blood, let's work on repairing the pancreas, and let's remove a few of these things that we're continually feeding it. And if that means loneliness, then, you know, community helps us all
Right.
like feel better, and just finding your niche, your community. So that's why I love your cosmic connection, because I have found my family here, and I've brought as many people I can. Some have decided this is their family too. It's just try it out. It's an amazing place, and we have all types of things going on all the time. So I feel very welcomed here, very trusting here.
And then speaking of community and just in general, if there's some kind of misalignments going on in life, either it's diabetes or loneliness and this and that, it's just at the end of the day, you need to take action and you need to take responsibility. And if you don't know what's going on, that you still need to take action and try to find help, who maybe someone who's understanding better the you know, traumas and everything. They can help you to sit and sort things out and bring you to the alignment and harmony with yourself.
Right.
And then when you're in a harmonious mindset with yourself, without, you know, judging yourself, let's say, okay, there's things happen and we are all humans and things happen, but like removing the judgment, understanding why these things are happening, plugging in spiritual perspective, where soul is here to experience life in different ways and forms. And when you go in that way, your body is responding to that harmonious mindset, then it starts healing itself. And then you put in the herbs and they, you know, that's like the uplifter in the healing process.
A pair. You have to pair several things, whatever works for the individual. And having a community where you can come and talk to about it and try new things that you've never even heard of is just, you know, that's an opportunity. It's a blessing. And I like seeing that new people coming in, especially younger people like yourself, and just acclimating and participating, but also we're benefiting from what you have to offer. And so there's just a lot of other things that you pair with herbs. My specialty is healing herbs and radical self-love. And pairing those two together is just such a wonderful, you can almost lift yourself out of that lower vibration, that cycle of thoughts that aren't good for us, and start being aware of them and questioning them. You know, there's ginkgo biloba will help clear brain fog, and I have a capsule blend that has lion's mane, which helps neuropathy and neurological system, and pairing that with ginkgo biloba and a couple other herbs. And I make all kinds of stuff. I put it in capsules. I make tinctures with grain alcohol. I make oil infusions, poultices, balms. So all the different things. If I can sit down with you for, I prefer longer than 5 minutes. An hour is usually a typical consult. But some people, they just have a couple of things they want to start working on. That's like a 20-minute conversation. I can direct you in the right way. The thing that has to happen, though, is you have to be your own advocate. So even all the science, because I do a lot of science background research, and I provide that within my products so that you know what you're putting in your body. And then when I get a consult, a customer a client that's sitting across from me, they have to bring in everything that they're on. And that's everything from supplements to Western medicine to any herbal concoctions they're already taking. That way I have a full picture of what's going in their body, compounding with what I plan on giving them, to see if it's going to be synergistic or if it's going to cause an issue or if they're going to negate each other. I don't want anybody to waste their money or become, more importantly, get sick off of something. You know, I've had a couple clients who've had adverse reactions to an herb like oregano. She's very strong and she's a powerhouse an infection fighter, but we do have allergies and that allergy is very prevalent. So if you find yourself taking oil of oregano for sinus infection and your tongue swells up or your throat gets scratchy, you may have a slight allergy to it, and it might be something you want to look at taking something else like colloidal silver or garlic pills, or there's other things that you can take. Like I said, Mother Gaia has created hundreds, if not thousands, of herbs that do similar things. And that's the beauty of it. This was given to us as a gift to utilize, and it's an opportunity for everyone to learn. And that's my classes right now. I'm doing it's the 7th class of the major chakras. It's on the crown chakra, and I will be doing that class today. It's about 12:30 to 2:30, and we're going to go over everything from like the connection our crown has to the ethers, all our other chakras, because there's not just 7.
Right.
There's 144,000, and I think there's probably even more than that. And we'll be going over the mythology, Hindu, Buddhist, and just a slight amount of that. And then we'll be making our own. We're gonna make a oil mist so that we can spray it over our crown with the right intention set to start our day or end our day, or however. If you need to calm down, it'll be great for that. So every class, I've had 7, this is the 7th one, and every class we've been able to make something. And I love seeing people who have never worked with herbs get in there and just like absorb it and put their hands on herbs and create their own medicine. And I'll be doing more of that because it's just a joy to watch people learn, see the light bulb go on, and then they get kind of like the bug to want to make more and more.
It's like education, because a lot of people they don't know that. They don't know that they can use herbs for healing. People know traditional herbs like thyme and I don't know, dill and
sage and oregano.
The simple ones that you use for cooking, but they don't know that you can use it for healing and also enhancing your spiritual experience, because your physical body and your chakras, it's all connected. It's not just physical body, energetical body, spirituality somewhere there, it's all, we're layered, we're all connected. And chakras is connected to your glands, and then they produce the proteins, and then you're sending signals to your brain, your nervous system. And this is all, people don't understand that we're actually like so complex, and that the physical body and everything, the way it's created, it's so complex. It's amazing, actually.
It is. And to think about how the body was created, it was created to be immersed in herbs and Mother Gaia and just each other. So like if you're opting out of buying something that might cost more because it's organic and or from someone's farm instead of a grocery store, then you have to keep in mind that whatever they had to do to cut corners, preservatives or altered GMO products, like corn's a huge example in the United States, or even like making a sourdough starter, you really have to pay attention to where you're getting your herbs and your medicine, essentially what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, because speaking of the sourdough and gluten and bread in general, about 4 years ago I started breaking out. I had this weird allergy reaction and my head would get hot, and I was cutting out whatever I was consuming just to understand what it is, and it was actually gluten. And I was like, dang, I have gluten allergy now. I'm like, I love pastries and everything. And then 1 month later I went back to Latvia to visit my family, and I was there for a month. And they use different kind of, they don't use the spray on different kind of regulations to produce the flour and all that on wheat and everything. And I was like, I don't know, but I really want the pastries. I love Latvian pastries. They're freaking amazing. If you're ever in Europe and go to Latvia, it's like super good. So, and I ate one and I'm like, I have no reaction. So I was literally eating 4 to 6 pastries every day. I have a big sweet tooth. And I had no reaction, first of all. And second of all, I gained only 1 pound in 1 month eating 6 pastries. If you would eat in America 6 pastries a day, that would be a problem. So it's kind of
it's the GMO. And after World War II, the wheat was changed. It was scientifically altered, and our bodies. So what happens in our bodies when we put something synthetic in is that our bodies react to it as oh, this is a foreign object and we need to get it out.
Right.
How do we get it out? The body sends signals and inflames the area and floods it with fluids, usually mucus, and definitely inflammation. And then it.
What was that?
Is it still alive?
No, we're still live, but the light.
That's okay.
No, continue talking.
Oh, yeah.
We're
So
still live.
with the science, it was actually altered, the grain, how they grow it, how it multiplies when it's in earth. And then you throw preservatives on top of that. I mean, you're being hit with stuff that never comes out of our body. And the grain that being altered is no longer from nature.
Sorry guys, we'll be in the dark. Something happened to the light. So I bet people who are watching later this video, everyone's listening anyway. No one's really
that's true.
looking, but yeah.
Yeah, so there's quite a few. Corn is another example of something that was genetically altered. I mean, I don't think we know all of the things that they've genetically altered. And not to go down that rabbit hole, but like I said, you have to be aware of what you're putting in your body. And if you are aware and you put it in your body anyway, because I'm guilty of this on the weekends, I have a day off, and I'll tell you, it usually takes me 3 days to recover from 1 day of indulging. And that's an issue for me that I'm constantly working on. But it's good because if you know a lot of healers, they usually start off with having a major crisis, health crisis in their own body, and that's what gets them going down the rabbit hole. Now, for all of the things that we're bombarded with in the United States, it's very hard to be 100% clean.
Right.
But like you had said earlier, accountability, right? I mean, I take full responsibility for what I put my body through, but I also have a wonderful morning routine, and I just write it on a little card in the morning, like gratitude before my feet touch the ground, stretch right first thing in the morning, and then I work on my liver because I have a double mutation, MTHFR, for those who know, the worst mutations, the double, so my body methylates, which basically means absorbs and removes toxins at less than 25%. And then the longer as you age, it gets lower. And there's certain things people in the United States population, they're statistically stating that there's about 70% of the population that has one or two of these mutations. And I have written a paper on it. There's four different levels. You can have it on one side of the parent. And if your parent has it, you have it. It's not that you're activating it. It's not like DNA being activated. It is a mutation from birth that's passed on. And it's a very important thing to know about because we are more susceptible for being overweight, becoming diabetic, just all of the Alzheimer's, dementia. Because think about it, if your body is unable to process and eliminate or even absorb minerals and vitamins, then that's when disease comes in. That's when diabetes comes in. That's when you just age so much quicker. And that's what's plaguing our current situation here in the United States is, if you went back 20 years ago, the amount of people who had type 2 diabetes, the percentage was very low. Now, I think I read a study that said it was almost 50% of the population. And that is scary. That is so scary. I dipped into type 2 and then I changed what times I was eating, what I was eating. And, in the process of doing that, I lost 30 pounds. But I also got my numbers back down. And I made a supplement, a capsule, to help my pancreas repair. And I do warm lemon water in the morning, which is very all over the social media. And guys, it works. And that's something you can, get yourself. My neighbor has a lemon tree. She lets me have all the lemons I want.
Best. Oh my God.
Yes. And then I just give her medicine for whatever is ailing her. So bartering is great. If you have a neighbor who has that, maybe that's also bringing community together.
Right.
Yeah, knowing if you can get products in your body that someone grew and not so much from a store, like a farmer's market.
Mm-hmm.
They have organic farmers out there. Arrowhead Farmers has a great one. There's a farmer's market called Uptown Market, and that's off of Bethany and Central.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge market that has a lot of organic growers. So I'm connected with a lot of people in the growing community because I barter with them. I get moringa leaf, I get oregano, I get mint, I get all kinds of stuff. And I just barter with them products. Whatever they want, I barter with them, and I get a product that hasn't been sprayed or processed.
Right.
And it's beautiful. And I just got a couple months ago from Patty, who comes to Your Cosmic Connection, 4 pounds of fresh moringa leaf.
Oh wow.
And I make a
And
moringa
local,
oil.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing
it's very
too.
local,
It's like,
yeah. And so I made a whole bunch of moringa oil, which is, I'm an old school herbalist, which means I do the long brew time. I don't use applied heat. Unless someone's really in dire need, I have a recipe for certain products that I can speed up the process. But I love the long brew process. That means it could be 6 months before you get a product or 2 months before you get a product. So I keep my herbs stocked, but I've learned the ebb and flow of the market and like the times of the season. Like right now I'm brewing something that's going to help people who have neuropathy reverse it. And reversing neuropathy is very difficult because your nerves are covered and coated and protected by a natural product, kind of like the veil of the universe. It's very thin right now, and that's what's protecting our nerves. And every nerve has it, and we have thousands of nerves running through our body. And the lower extremities, especially the knees down, where your nerves start having problems, especially in your toes and your feet, it's because we don't raise our feet up. We aren't exercising and running. When you pump your calf muscles, like 20 pumps a day in the morning, or even better, raise your feet up and stick them on the wall while you're still in bed, and then use your own hands, to massage the lymphatic system right behind your knees. And you don't have to do it super hard. You don't want to pump your lymphatic system super hard because it is a soft nodule and you don't want to damage it. But like putting your feet up for 20 minutes 3 times a week, your blood is going to slowly run back up to your heart. And our heart's job is to clean our blood. And that's why they call the knees down dirty blood. Because how many people, dirty blood is not an environment where you can have a healthy nervous system, especially if we're engaging in, eating bad foods. And I don't really like to call it bad foods. I like to call it like reminder meals, only because when you talk to yourself in a negative way, you're shaming what you're about to participate in or what you've already participated in.
But again, it brings I think what general population and society lacks is the awareness of all this information.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, everything is created in a fast-paced, instant gratification. Like, if I'm sick, I want the pill. I don't want to wait for your herbs, right?
Yeah.
And it's just that, and then because you're constantly in a stress mode, all this like hurry,
Right.
making money, all this stuff. It's like to calm down because your brain is overworked. Like, okay, Netflix, this is the
right. Checkout.
Checkout only way to to calm yourself down. But and one way is to substitute the Netflix, being more mindful and read your body at the end of the day, see what's going on, because your body is always sending you signals if there's something off. When you put your legs up, how are you feeling? Check in with yourself.
Right.
You can still be on your phone, even your legs up,
right.
if you need that.
Yes.
Or better just take a book and in the morning, walking outside on the grass if there's an opportunity.
If you're standing in your kitchen and you're cooking food, or you're standing outside and you're just like looking up at the sun, just lift your heels off the ground and do it 20 times. Because when your calves are pumped, that's what it's doing. It's pumping blood out of that area to your heart to clean it. And it's like equivalent to taking a walk. And I know you still should take the walk,
Right.
but that's your own free will. But if you're, I used to do this where I would do something every 5 minutes to work towards healing, and that was exhausting. So then I just had to change my lifestyle habits, and I am still always working on it. We always go a couple steps forward, a couple steps back, maybe 4 steps forward, a couple steps back. The key here, in my own opinion, is that we don't beat ourselves up over it.
Exactly. No judgment.
Right.
Again, it's just in a life experience, and like from the soul perspective, you were just learning. You didn't know better. Now you learned. There is no need for you to judge yourself that you didn't know. Again, that the program of perfectionism kicks in. It's like no one is perfect. We're here to learn. You're perfect when you're out of the body in the spiritual, when you're connected to everything, then yeah, But here, living in the world of duality and like fake separation, that's the whole game of living the human life.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because my grandson, he just turned 14, and he's sprouted up, so he's like almost 6 foot tall, and his voice dropped really low, and I'm just like, wow, when that switched so quick. And I thought, well, maybe I should start like talking to him, because he's never really been interested in herbs. And I've got a niece who is Marcy, who wants to learn about it, and I love that. So I don't put it or force it on my kids, but my grandson, he does somewhat have an interest in it. And so I think that having that connection with him deepens our connection to Mother Gaia, to each other. And I think it'll only help him when he, is older and has a family. So I'm going to start teaching at Your Cosmic Connection on how to make a specific blend, so that you can participate from the beginning to the end, and it'll be your responsibility when you leave with your tincture or your infusion to take care of it, to talk to it, to pray with it, to fill it with kindness. One of the major things I do when I'm making something is, if I'm not in the right mindset, or I get upset and then I get up to go work, I stop, because I think of herbs as a living, like a person.
Right. Yeah.
Almost like a little child at times, because we're kinder to our children than we are to ourselves. So like imagining a 7-year-old version of myself, and I'm about to go be annoyed with it, I would rather just go do something else, calm myself down. But
because the energy transfers, and it's like, that's why going in a farmer's market and getting groceries there and fruit and everything, because think about it, how many people touched your fruits and vegetables before you put them on your plate or put them in your mouth. If you go to regular supermarket, maybe these things been shipped from China. So think from the perspective of even, trees were planted, let's say apples, trees were planted, but how many people touched the apples to pick them, or maybe there's a machine, and then to package them, then to store them, then to move from boxes from one place to another, put it on container, remove it from container, put it on the truck, remove it from the truck, put it in a grocery store, another person takes them, put them there, then there's a bunch of people come and touch them. It's like, think about it, the same simple apple, it's like right before you eat it, there could be like 120 people touched it.
Right.
And it's like you receive the energy from 120 people. At that moment, you don't, like when they were touching it, consciously or unconsciously, you don't know what they were thinking, what they were feeling. Oh, that shit transfers. So if you go to the farmer's market, there's maybe 5 people touch it. And farmers usually are more, because they're so directly connected to their product, to their what they're growing, they're putting their love in it. Right. They're usually more mindful and more grateful and feeling. I feel like they're feeling better than just regular.
Yeah, being raised by 2 farmers. My grandmother more on the herbalist side, but my grandfather, and then my uncle Frank, and then my uncle Ronnie, they helped on the farm, and farmers work night and day. They work so, and they're disappearing. There's less and less of them. So like to your point in getting things over from China and the energy level, right, of all the different people touching it, but also how to keep that fruit or vegetable or herb fresh has to be inundated. So it has to penetrate the cellular structure of that apple in order to keep it alive 6 weeks longer than, if you go and buy, let's see, the last time I bought a regular loaf of bread, that it was hot hamburger buns because we were having a barbecue. That packet that was left over from the party, I think that was like 3 months and there was nothing green on it. And that was the scariest thing. And I thought, okay, my family's just gonna have to buy their own hamburger buns, because if I can't find them organically that aren't gonna cause problems, I'm not gonna buy them. My husband and I, we go back and forth with he does carnivore and that works for his body, and I do more of just fasting and light eating, and then using herbs in everything. So like I cook with like the weirdest herbs. The other day my husband's like, I can't figure out what this herb is in here, and I was like, oh well, it's this. And he's like, I don't think he realized that you could cook with that. And just like I make these little drinks that are really rich in probiotics, and a lot of us have
those ginger beers.
Yeah, Junebug. It's just
the one that you gave me.
Yeah,
I finished it. It was fabulous.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I'm making some really good ones right now. I'm making a lemon balm and tulsi, and then what happens is and there's tons of videos out there you can learn how to do this, but fermented foods especially are wonderful for us. If you're one of the rare people walking around with a perfect gut microbiome, you don't need them. But most of us are walking around with some kind of gut dysbiosis, and that could turn into colitis, diverticulitis, all kinds of things that cause major issues down the line if it's just continually let to go. So you get an overgrowth of candida, and a huge percentage of our population has an overgrowth of candida. I myself am dealing with it from a mold issue. So, but I'm fighting it, and I don't like to use the word fighting. I am working with my microbiome to build up a healthier. So once you change the microbiome for better, you have better microbiome than you do bad, it's going to outweigh them, and they're going to end up eradicating the candida or the SIFO, small intestines fungal overgrowth, or SIBO, small intestines bacterial overgrowth. And there's other ones, but there's like 3 different types. We were born with a microbiome gut from our mother, from passing through, and the whole C-section, unfortunately, when that's necessary, that robs our children, that child, of that microbiome, that good immune system structure. When they cut the cord too soon, when the cord still has purples and like fluids running through it, that is meant for the baby to have a stronger immune system for the rest of their lives. That helps them with their mitochondria, their telomeres. Those are all things that can just equal longevity and quality of life. Quality of life is so important. So like the ginger bugs I make, it's just fermented juice. You take ginger, and I use distilled water. They call it naked water because there's nothing in it. Keep in mind it's stripped, so it has no minerals or vitamins, and it's important to put those things back. But if you put, like mine is lemon balm, tulsi, and at the end I'll put cloves, because cloves will kill off some of the microbiome. But if you just put them at the end, it's already fermented, they're already strong, they're not going to die off. And then I make a root beer one, and then I made a cranberry one. That I think that's the one you had, right?
I had ginger and
was it lemon or root beer? It's probably
root beer. Yeah, root beer. Yeah,
that was my favorite.
Yeah.
But this one I'm making an elderberry one, because we're going into the flu season, and elderberry boosts your immune system up, and that's really important when you're out and about or in a group setting and there's someone that might be carrying a cold they don't know, and you just happen to breathe it in because you're in that surroundings. So having a little bit of elderberry and probiotic bugs will change the trajectory. You will not get a cold, and you've improved your microbiome gut. They're gut bugs, and they're necessary. And the good ones are definitely, we are losing the ability to produce them on our own. So like sea moss is a great prebiotic that feeds the probiotics. And sea moss has all of those minerals and vitamins that are being stripped from us. Like if you just pick up a bottle of water and there's, first off, it's sitting in plastic.
Right.
We don't know if it's been outside heated to a certain temperature and now it's leaching in all of those chemicals from the plastic.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, same. When I see the
at Circle K, it's sitting out there in the heat. Arizona.
It's like, seriously, people, it's like full of plastic, because I learned this in chemistry class, and our teacher was fantastic. And she said that, let's say the plastic molecule looks like this.
Right.
And then when it heats up, it starts turning and changing the structure, so it kind of opens up, and then it's like it goes into the water, and you're literally drinking melted plastic, microplastic.
And microplastics are very prevalent in this day and age in our brain, and that's a lot of issues where if you're getting brain fog on a normal, things to take for that is just mushrooms are great, and I have a great mushroom blend for that. But also, knowing that burn off is important. You have to move your body. I'll do water aerobics. It's nice and soft on the bones. And I'm in the water, so you're weightless, right? And then I'll go and I'll play pickleball, but it can't last very long because that's really hard on your body. But if you're already in the moving, then all you really need to do, if you're noticing brain fog, is to add a couple of supplements, and however that looks for you. I will tell you the difference between the bioavailability of a tincture as opposed to a tea or a capsule are huge. So when something has to go through your gut to benefit you, you have to be curious about, okay, is my gut healthy? Or am I bloated and I've got gas and I'm just eating crap, right? Well, that capsule you take, you're going to get about maybe 40, 50, 60% of the benefit. So all of that you've lost is just a waste of money.
Or at least if you use the capsules, at least you can open it up and then use the powder, right? So it goes directly.
So my tinctures are my favorite thing to make, because when you brew a tincture or oil infusion correctly and long enough, and protected enough, because tinctures have to be in a dark space, they have to be shooken. I think they need to be prayed to or prayed about and talked to nicely. I mean, I outwardly talk to mine. I know I'm a little woo-woo, but
that's not woo-woo.
I love it, and I'm not changing for anybody, and I'll do it in front of everybody now. I used to be really secretive about it, but now I tell people this. And obviously now that this is live.
And it's actually scientifically proven, because there's this device, for example, I don't remember what it's called, but it reads the sound, and then there are two wires. So one wire you plug it, but like clip it to, let's say you use a plant, to the leaves, and clip it to the leaves. Another, it's like a stick, you put it in the ground, and it's connected to this device, and then you can hear the sound of the plant. And the plant could be singing, the plant could be, communicating with you. Cactus, I did with cactus, and cactus are like, like this weird sound. But then we did I had this very beautiful, kind of like a mini tree, and the tree was like, and I was like, oh, she's very active and everything. An interesting thing that when we used the device, my tree died. So she was screaming, please don't do it to me. And I didn't know that. That was my first experiment. And I was like recording. And it's like, but that's literally, if someone needs a scientific, physical proof, Google that device, and it's like literally plants talk to you, and they're like living, like it's a living being. Yeah, they don't have eyes or mouth, but they can sense you. They have sensors. And it's just, it's not.
That's why I don't have a lot of people come over to our house. We have a tiny home, And I've had people want to come over and help me with my herbs. Well, first off, it's too tiny. And then second off, I'm just protective over what I make in the best sense. Like, I do a long brew process, and I also do all of this intention setting and planning for them. And I grow some of the herbs, and that's important to me to keep that going. It makes me feel like I'm closer to my grandmother when I do the process that she did. But to the tincture point of benefits, tinctures go, and you always want to shake the bottle because herbs settle. And once you have a full tincture, I will say that most of the bottles you buy that have the glass tincture and the rubber squeezy top, they don't fill all the way up over time because oxygen, right? Air gets in there and it oxidates. So if you have an alcohol tincture and it's started to evaporate and you haven't really used it, that's just oxygen getting in there. So what you need to do is take that tube and the rubber top of it out and just put a solid lid on it. But when you put a tincture of medicine under your tongue, your mucous membranes, that's telling them, okay, it's time to open like a flower, and whatever you hold under there. I always try and get people to hold it for like a count of 10 to 20. The longer you can hold it, the more absorption. Now, where's that going? Directly into the bloodstream.
That's why you need to put it under the tongue,
right? Because that's the only place your mucous membranes open up that we can get to without surgery. So for it to absorb, you get 90 or higher % of the benefit. There's always some that you have to swallow, but think about it. Now you're getting it in your gut health, and you're getting it in your bloodstream. Like, for instance, my tincture for liver and gallbladder. I'm talking about this a lot because a lot of people don't know the health of their liver, and most of us are inundated with what they're spraying on us, what they're putting in our foods, what they're putting in our earth, and then in the water. And the liver's job gets so backed up that she can't move things. Her job, and then the gallbladder's job, and it's just so important to do the things and know where your body's at. But it's hard to know unless you are paying attention to your body. Exactly. And we'll sit here and I'll go, oh, I don't know why my knee hurts, right? Or why my right back column here hurts. And I'll think about it. Okay, what was my weekend like? Okay, I had this ice cream and I had a couple of drinks, and now this hurts. If it's on your right side and it's directly under where for us women, under your bra line, that's typically because your liver is inflamed.
Oh, wow. And
if you can get a castor oil pack on your body that night and sprinkle a little organic cayenne pepper in that hexene-free castor oil, and wear a wrap made of 100% cotton or muslin, something that's from Mother Earth, and wrap it around you when you sleep, when you enter that REM sleep, if that's when the body goes into regeneration. That if you can get into REM and stay there for 3+ hours, your life expectancy is going to be elongated. If you do this liver pack, castor pack on your liver for one night, a couple times a week, if that struggle, you will reduce, because castor pulls and cayenne pepper delivers heat so that the blood flows. So telling the blood that you need to flow in that area oxygenates it. When you put oxygen into the blood, that tells the body and the cells, go there and heal. So the pairing is wonderful. I do that quite often. You can even put hexane-free castor oil inside your eyes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's freaky.
I've been putting in my hair and lashes.
You can do it everywhere.
And in the belly button.
And the belly button for digestion. But also your lymphatic system, right? Like, people ask me all the time, do you make a natural deodorant? No, I don't. I don't wear deodorant. I haven't worn deodorant since like 2017.
And she doesn't smell.
I don't. Yeah. And it's because if you don't wear deodorant for a day and your right under your right armpit is just disgusting smelling, that's your liver.
Oh shit. Okay. Because I have the right arms, like, why my right armpit is stinky? Yes. And it smells like old Indian man. It's like, okay, so liver.
Not curry then. If it's the left one and you just let it go for a day and it stinks really bad, that's your kidney. So if you just take castor oil, now if you're new to castor oil, go light and do one area because it is a fast acting pull and it might make you sweat. It might make you feel like a little nauseous. So I always suggest, especially if you're trying to get rid of wearing deodorant, because that clogs all of our lymphatic nodules, which is a major issue. And I'm seeing an uptick of cancer in my clients.
And that's why they
crazy.
add all the aluminum in it.
Even if you buy natural stuff, natural stuff still clogs. It might be clogged with something that's not going to do much damage, but when you're clogged, can you do your job? No. So if you take a little bit of castor oil on your fingers, wash your hands first and try not to use synthetic soaps because those chemicals change the hormone trajectory in your body. And you just put it under your armpits at night when you go to bed. Again, you're reaching that REM sleep and it's repairing. And what the castor's doing, you don't want to put cayenne under your armpits. Please remember that. But what it's doing is it's pulling out. And you'll notice in the morning, like it'll be like kind of sticky if it's really bad. Like if it pulled a lot out. So just take a shower. Try to use natural soaps. There's a soapery here, Robin, who sells her beautiful natural soaps, and I was having soap shipped in from France that was like $20 a bar. I was able to switch over to hers just because of the natural way that she uses her products. But just don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do everything. Start with your own body. And for me, it's always the liver because of the MTHFR. And also, I would just start, years ago, I just started getting rid of one product at a time. I have a goal right now to be 100% chemical free in our household. And the stuff that I have in our house that does have somewhat of a chemical in it isn't even that harmful to us. I just don't want it in my house. But it's a matter of sourcing, right? So some products are hard to source. That's why community is great, because you talk to people and they're like, oh, I have this great recipe. It doesn't have any hormone disruptors, and now I don't have to put like olive oil on my face or put chemicals in on where my brain is to wash my hair.
A lot of people don't understand, especially like beauty industry, all the hair coloring. I mean, I understand gray hair, you wanna color it, but then all the shampoos, leave-in conditioners, sprays, blah 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 blah. I used to have like probably I don't know 10, at least 10 different bottles that I would use like almost every day for my hair. Wow. Because my hair would be like dry. Now I use all natural shampoo, conditioner, and then I put a little bit of castor oil actually before in a wet hair, and then interesting thing. Then when I was waking up, like spiritually waking up, naturally I switched my products. I didn't think about it. I'm like, I don't want to use this thing, the mainstream stuff. I'm like, oh, I want something like going back to like when I was growing up. We didn't have like all these fancy, good smelling things. We didn't have, everything was natural. And it's like cleaning the house. I use, for example, baking soda and a lot of things. When you do laundry, you can use baking soda. Cleaning a lot of mostly for cleaning. And then I use a lot of coconut oil for. I switched from, I had the lotion for my feet, lotion to remove the makeup, lotion after shave, lotion this, lotion that. So when I traveled, I would have like a bunch of little bottles to carry with me.
One bag for lotions.
Yeah, and now I have only one. It's coconut oil. Antiseptic, when your feet are stinky, coconut oil. When
antifungal,
when you're sunburned, coconut oil works really well. Makeup
aloe and coconut together.
Mix it together. And then makeup remover. I've been using coconut oil for like 7 years now. And you go, the Costco coconut oil. It's the cold press.
Just use, download the app Yuka, Yuka. It's got a little carrot. And that's what most of my clients, when I have a consult, I'll challenge them to take that app because it has a barcode and go around their house and start in their kitchen. And but this app does is it tells you what danger level the additives are, and then you can click on it and read the science on it.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah, and they're building up a memory of new products, especially for beauty and shampoos and things like that. So, and then they're going to add on, I'm hoping, what I've read, they're adding on things for our animals.
So that's the next thing, because it's like the pet food and everything. I'm like, I'm paying $3.50 for a can, and there's only 4 ingredients. But I'm like, again, I was like, I don't know, because the major ingredient is tuna, and then the mercury in it, and it's like, I don't know what to feed my cats.
Yeah, and then, you know, that space where we're finding authentic, like you said, fish, tuna, is getting smaller just because of things changing and, you know, regulations being changed. So I'm a huge advocate, and I do volunteer with a couple of organizations. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can see which ones I belong to that try and help preserve and change the policies in certain areas. In Arizona, especially with the trail spraying that they were doing, and just the chemicals that are in our water and sold to us as healthy, or even going to the dentist and taking our children to the dentist and them covering our teeth and our children's teeth with fluoride, which fluoride is a known compound that crystallizes and it's like basically calcium deposits. So it calcifies your pineal gland, your third eye, and also your bones. So people who are dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, obviously that's an autoimmune disease, but that affects the bone heavily, especially in the hands. And that's reversible. I mean, if we're taking a bunch of painkillers and going and seeing an RA specialist and they're giving us other drugs, look at what the long-term effects and side effects are of the drugs that they're putting you on. It is our job to be the advocate, and even when you go to an herbalist and that you have questions for them, they should be able to answer those questions for you. If they can't answer those questions, they should absolutely respond to you in a way that I've got to do research on that. And that's my number one go-to when I'm, you know, I have someone who's got a rare issue going on or multiple issues. So like a consult for someone who has like maybe 5 major issues going on. And that's very, very prevalent. I'm telling you. And in the 55 to 65 range is when we start to see a lot of major illnesses. So it could take me 70 hours of research just to find a path to help them. And then there's some people that are resistant to the healing of herbs only because they're so inundated with not only the sickness that's happening in their body, but the medicine that they're on to help prevent it, because then that medicine mixed with that medicine causes another side effect. So we have to be our own advocate. It's so important to know what we're putting in our body, not just food, but also like spraying stuff on our body. You know, I'm so sensitive now to when someone wears cologne or perfume that some of them are so toxic, I can smell the toxins. Now that's a clair that's opened up for me.
Speaking of clairs,
Yeah, and I'm not trying to dismay anybody from going to certain places, but I can't go to Salad and Go because I smell it on the food right when the window's opened. I can't go to what's that place called? PF Chang's? No, that's not it. I don't know, it's a Chinese chain that I forgot the name. I can't even go in that restaurant. And you know, I'll tend to go to places and I'll know what the reaction in my body's gonna happen. Like if I go to Samurai Sam's, I'm gonna get bloated because they do have some form of bad MSG. Because not all MSG is bad. So as you can see, I have like a plethora of stuff in my head. And so I do this tea with Junebug once a month. I was doing it every week, but I can't keep my business up, the stuff I need to do and do that. So once stuff settles down after the holidays, I'll probably pick it up twice a month. But it's the second Wednesday of every month. And it's a 2-hour conversation about what you need to know about healing. You bring what your questions are, and we try and figure them out. And I guide you to the ways to figure it out, or I give you pointers as to what I've already figured out. So that is a strong community of healing, and that's what we need to get back to. When we trust in one person who has been educated by a system that's been compromised, and we don't question why, when, what is this going to pair with this? Are these two doctors talking to each other? That's when we start seeing major issues coming about and people being put on 10 plus medications.
Speaking of that, there was a documentary. So I studied psychology, a bachelor's in psychology, and we had to watch for whatever the class, don't remember. The documentary is called The Medicated Child.
Oh, wow.
And maybe on YouTube, I don't know, Google it.
Do I want to watch this?
Yes, I think this documentary should be everyone who is like 100% trusting their doctors and thinking, oh, that my doctor knows everything and I totally trust them, but I have all these, health issues still going on and I'm taking one medicine after another. Watch that documentary because it literally breaks down, and they interview different people too. There's this young boy who's 16 and he was put on, like, I don't remember, 7 or 8 meds, and he had all different kind of health issues, and he was autistic or something like that. And he said by the age of whatever, he's like, I started meditating and I started doing yoga, but I couldn't focus. And his goal was to be completely off the meds.
Nice.
There was another old lady, she was on like 12 different drugs or something like that. And she was completely delusional, whatever. And then at the end, when they broke it down, what pill she's on, and they left her only 2 vital ones, that's like super important for her health. All of a sudden, the being came back. She was totally fine, comprehending things, and
so
walking. The energy came back and everything. So it's
that
like,
chemical compound that was happening in her body was creating that dementia, early onset dementia.
Yeah. And another thing, speaking of doctors, if you're thinking that all doctors are, some of them are. I'm not talking about everyone, but majority of the doctors, when they're in the medical field, they have contract with pharmaceutical companies, and the pharmaceutical reps come in and they're like, here's this new drug that we made. If you sell this drug, you get 30% of your sales or whatever. And I just found out 2 days ago, there's a website where you can put in your name. I'm gonna share it. I'll put it in the comments when we're done. Where you put in the name of your practitioner, and it literally shows how much he got paid selling meds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Here's your disclosure. Wow. And the thing is, a lot of people not going to want to agree what we're talking about. And
that's fine.
Fuck
you have free will.
Yeah. Whatever, because guess what? You're lazy. That's one thing. You don't want to change your lifestyle for better. Another one is fear. Because fear, it's like, oh my God, now what do I do? Embrace it. But fear has the lowest frequency, and that keeps you, all squeezed in and you can't take action. Everyone experiences fear, but you're bigger than that.
I think with our doctors that work so hard and what they're required to make so many patients a day, and what they're restricted to, I have a friend who's still in the business, she's about to retire, but when she does a hormonal test on someone, she's only allowed to do a certain amount of hormones to test. And us women, when we go pre and peri and straight on menopause and post, we don't know what all of our hormone levels are because we're trusting our doctors that are supposedly testing all of them. Well, when she tests for everything, she'll get a letter, and that person who got the testing will have to pay out of pocket. But the more important thing to know here is our doctors are being told, you can't do that again. It's almost like they're getting written up for doing something for the betterment of their patients. So you'll see a lot of doctors who came out of the Western environment and now are full functioning doctors, or they have their own practice and they deal with a compounding company instead of Walgreens or CVS. I don't know if I would agree with a person being lazy. It's just fear, right? Fear, to me, and my clients, I see it all the time, and they don't have the knowledge base about herbs. And changing 2 or 3 things in your daily regimen can completely alter how you feel every morning. You may still have issues continuing, but like herbs build up over time. So they're, like you had said earlier, you can't just pop a pill and have instant relief. You may have to do, especially for our liver, it can take up to 6 weeks for our liver if we stay the course.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time staying the course just because it's an indulgent life, right? I'm used to it. I like to do it. And that's why I relate to my clients, because I know it's a struggle to be clean all the time. There's a very small percentage of people that we have all of this available to us that can stay very on that clean line. But if you can get on something herbal that's going to help, like I have several clients who are dealing with macular degeneration or cataracts or even floaters from parasites dying in their eyes, and they can't understand why they're seeing a little spot that's floating around. That's a dead parasite waste.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And
Yeah,
like I said,
everyone has parasites.
we all do. We were born with them, and not all parasites are bad. But one of the things I had said earlier is putting castor oil hexene free. It's important to remember that, because if you don't, you have a industrial chemical that's been added to that castor. And you drop it in your eyes a couple times a week, that will pull that waste out of the eye, just like it pulls the cataract coating off the eye. And you don't want to overdo it, so you need to know, like, you need to do your research. You can reach out to me, and I can give you some papers that have been written on it that's very researched. So people who get to the point where they have to go and have it surgically removed, that's stressful to the eye and to our energy. Right. When we have, like, when we're something invasive is happening to us, first off, the anesthesia is putting us so near the death. Like if you drew a line in the sand, it's putting us that close to death. It is a chemical that stays in our body for months. And a lot of people don't always react well to it, so it takes them even longer to get that all out of their system. But this being put under is very hard on the body. And to have something physically done to the eyes especially, that's the seat of the soul, is our vision. That will impact how fast you recover. It makes people more fearful. I've never heard someone go and get cataracts removed and be the happier person for it. They usually are traumatized for several months, if not a couple years, and then they come out the other side. And what's happening is it's just rebuilding that coating. What is that coating? Several things. It's waste, it's mucus. So we have mucus in every pocket of our entire body, in our kneecaps. We have it in our eyes. We have it in our, it's flowing in our skin. And mucus is it's an infection. So especially if you're waking up and you have a lot of stuff to cough up, you need to look at your lungs, because it's storing it. And yeah, it's great to get it out, but that means there's a lot more in there. I mean, even that's a problem with our lymphatic system. When there's too much mucus in the body, then that's when infection can cause other issues and start stagnating in our lymphatic areas. Especially if you have a double chin like I do, and this is full of mucus. Like I do a lymphatic massage every time I take a shower, and you start in a certain area, and there's tons of videos around people who have degrees and know how to work with the lymphatic system. I've just learned it from several different avenues, and I use it on myself, and I do rebounding. So, and then I take the lemon water, and I take my oil of oregano in the morning, not every day, because you don't want to take oil of oregano every day, because your body will build up a resistance to it, and you don't want to ruin something that could eventually help an issue you have. Like when I got really sick, majority of why I was getting sick was because I had sinus infections every month, and it's because I had way too much mucus in my body, and that caused my immune system to crash. And then I couldn't fight off the littlest things. Like if you came in and you had a cold, I'd get the cold. If somebody had, a breakout, of like herpes or something, I would get it.
Well,
It didn't matter if I touched you or I would be 10 feet away, I would just get it. Because when your immune system's completely crashed and compromised, you're just an open sore waiting
it's like
to absorb.
Open wound, right? Anything. Wow.
So like doing iron supplements if you know your iron's low, doing iodine. If you do have MTHFR, there's a great tincture that I make that has the ability to absorb into our body so that we aren't nutrient and vitamin deficient. Which when you're nutrient and vitamin deficient, that's when disease starts.
Right.
So you get too much mucus, not enough minerals and vitamins. Usually you're dehydrated. Those three right there are going to cause you to have a crash. That can look like cancer. That can look like just exhaustion, where your body completely gives out. And you know, it might be a body part that gives out. It might be your knee that gives out. It might be your shoulder that tightens up because you're not moving it enough, and your fascia is like now starting to turn.
That's another deep science.
Yeah,
Fascia.
fascia is amazing. And I've learned how to work out my own issues, because us women, especially on our right side, we will hold so much tension. So it'll propagate in our neck and down our shoulders. And several clients who have shoulder replacement. Okay, when you're putting a synthetic, like I said earlier, into your body, and a fake shoulder is a synthetic, your immune system's attacking it. So I have a client in the park where I live, and she's on her 3rd knee surgery on the same knee. Yeah.
You know what have you probably heard of the ionic foot bath detox, right?
I've had them done several times.
Okay, I'm on the way to purchase it because I had one like a couple months ago, and I'm always having lately knee problems because I work in the restaurant industry.
On your feet.
On my feet, carrying like heavy things and everything. And then when I had the detox the bath, first of all, I slept better because the toxins went out. Second of all of a sudden my joints felt much better, and when you're talking about mucus, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I had mucus in my knees.
Because your body's going, she's been on her knees for 8 hours, running, walking, doing fast things. I better put fluid there and inflame so I have some cushion and some mobility.
Okay.
So, I mean, the fast fix, you can go buy organic cabbage leaves and parch them a little bit. Parching is just like boil them real quick for like maybe 3 minutes, or you can massage the cabbage leaf and not parch them, and you wrap it on your knee, because cabbage pulls.
I didn't know that.
I have a balm that I make that is convenient. It has comfrey leaf in it, and comfrey is known as the bone knitter, but its job really is to repair bone fractures, breaks, ligament pulls, tendon, remove mucus. It's paired with skullcap, and I paired mine with castor oil. And there's like 3 other herbs in it. And so it's called All-in-One Balm. It's amazing. It's totally worth it. And then if you can go and buy a $150 or $200 infrared belt, because the belt itself, and not all of the belts are created equal. So I have a great one that I'll give you the link, and she can put it in the, if you put, like, even if you just still use the cabbage and you put that red light therapy belt in there, that infrared light activates your cells, tells them where it's at, it needs healing. So if you use my balm and the infrared light, you've sped your healing up 2, 3, 4 times, depending on how severe it is and what health condition you're in. I had a bone spur in 2021, and I went to a specialist. I sometimes just still go the Western route because I had never dealt with a bone spur. It was attached to my Achilles, and they wanted to saw off the part that was protruding. Well, the reason why it was protruding is because before we sold our big home, I sat Indian style on the tile floor and redid all our baseboards in a 2,300 square foot house, just scooting along. Well, I put too much pressure leaning on it. I mean, think about it. Our bodies are meant to move. When you keep it in a position and you put pressure on it, or you put it in a weird position, it's going to start affecting, as you get older especially, So for me, I took my all-in-one balm that I created for myself, which is one of the few things that I created for myself, and I started putting it on there, and then I would elevate it so that the blood was constantly being cleaned, and then I put the infrared belt on it, and for about 3 months, I dissolved the problem. It shifted back into place.
Right. That because the body is so intelligent, you just need to allow the body to function properly. Because again, I feel like with Western medicine, we're just blocking all the intelligent movements of the body, whatever. Because it really needs where to go, what to do, how to cleanse, and whatever. Right. We just need to get out of the way. And then I forgot what I want to say.
Yeah,
but I agree. The Western, like the doctors, something is not working. Let's cut it out. Let's cut it out. Then it's like,
let's remove your gallbladder. Let's remove your spleen. Let's remove.
Because they make money on it. You know?
Even our teeth. Even our teeth. When I was in roller derby, I got knocked out a couple times, and I lost 3 teeth. And they were important teeth. Every tooth is aligned with an organ or a function, just like our gallbladder. It assists our liver doing its job. Okay, now we're inundated without having the gallbladder and our liver struggling, and then we end up with type 2 diabetes and gaining a bunch of weight and hormone dysregulation and skin issues and overgrowth of candida. I mean, sometimes when I sit down with somebody, I can almost tell with the first couple of sentences when I ask them what's going on, exactly the trajectory of where they started and where they're going to end up. And I guess you can call that just having done it for so many years, being raised in that environment, but also intuitively picking up. Right? Yeah. Like my clairs for aura are pretty spot on. I don't usually see it too often, but sometimes I see it and I know that they need to have this information. The smell is really strong for me, and then I get these really strong feelings of knowing. And I'll tell my husband, because he's kind of harder to convince. I'll say, I will bet you, if I had $1 million, I would bet you $1 million that what I know is fact, and I have not been proven wrong yet.
It's a clear cognizance.
Yes.
I have that too. And it's like, how do you know? My mom is like, where did you read that? How do you know? I need the proof. And I was like, I just know. It's like this inner knowing. It's like it comes from within you. And I was like, I knew it since I was a kid. You know? And it's, and people, they're like, I want the proof.
You know, it's funny you say that, because we just had this wellness fair here at Your Cosmic Connection on the 1st. And the energy was so up. The feeling that I had all day. Now, normally it's a long day, right? We usually get here about 8:30 and we leave about 5:30. And most of the time I'm talking and I'm on my feet. And I'm helping tons of people and educating them and giving them herbal medicine to heal. But that energy kept me so uplifted and like Lorraine, the owner, she said earlier today, she's still riding that energy, like that uplifting energy. And that's exactly it. Like, community, come here and find your space, and reach out to me anytime if you have questions. Just know I have a lot more on my plate right now with the clients and the snowbirds coming back, but I promise you will get my attention. It might just take me a week.
How can we find you? What's the best way to contact you?
You can call me or text me. I'm not great on the phone because I'm multitasking, but my number is 623-687-7204. My email is Jenn, Jenn, at junebugsherbalhugs.com, and that's also the name. My website is junebugsherbalhugs.com.
And we'll put it in after we're done. We'll put it in.
And I'm on Facebook on the same name and Instagram on the same name. My husband is a marketing guru, so he found ways to keep my business name the same everywhere. Awesome. And we're opening up a new website. I'm gonna say maybe by the 1st of January that has even easier function than my old one. But I mean, some of the new things that I'm making is so prevalent. The neuropathy capsules They're not going to heal your neuropathy, but they're going to take the pain away. And everybody knows when you're in neuropathy pain, your life is just miserable. But
even if you have just whatever pain, like
it does help
something,
with other,
it makes you me personally, I become cranky. I'm like, I don't want to do anything.
Isolate,
just,
be in a dark room. Definitely it would help that. And it's one of those herbs, like I said earlier, that's like the morphine replacement without all the side effects or the addictive properties, right? So that also means that it's not hurting your liver like those others. Another one, the ginger bugs. I think it's really important right now that we pay attention to our liver, our guts, and our hearts. So hearts, I have a capsule that I make. It's called hawthorn berry, and it's very well known, but it's not known as what it actually helps. It strengthens the inside of your heart wall, as well as when we get when our heart struggles, our arteries shrink, so the blood flow is lessened, and that's a really serious issue. Well, this hawthorn berry will go in there and open up your arteries and make the walls inside the arteries stronger, and allowing more blood flow, more oxygen in the blood that will heal anywhere that it's flowing. And the hawthorn berry carries away the waste. It does a multitude of things. It helps lower your cholesterol, because obviously if you're opening up your heart arteries and you're strengthening your heart walls of your heart, and the blood is flowing with clean blood, your cholesterol is going to lower. You know, these statins that everybody is on is cutting off the oxygen and the fluidity to our brainstem, which creates dementia and Alzheimer's. They're calling it the third type 3 diabetes. And when you're on a statin, especially a prolonged one, that can create so many more issues. That's like the number one drug I want people to try and get off of.
What is the what
There's several versions of it.
But what does it do? The drug?
It dehydrates your brain.
Oh.
So like all this coconut that you're doing, that's hydrating you.
Right.
We're dehydrating it with that drug. And when you do that, that's why there's such an uptick of Alzheimer's and dementia and brain fog. Right. So if you're starting to get brain fog, that could be a sign that one of these drugs is causing that.
Wow.
But it's also environmental toxins and what we're putting in our body and stuff. But if we can,
sorry for interrupting. Would you say that people who are on the blood thinners with the hawthorn berry?
Yeah, well, okay, so I'd have to know what all heart medicine that you're on, because if you're being put on a blood thinner, there's other issues obviously that happened to put you on that. So that's when my compounding and science brain has to go in hiding and look at what you're taking and see what would work for you. So I can't just say hawthorn berry works for you and you're on 2 heart meds and a blood thinner. That's dangerous, and that's an irresponsible herbalist. If you have someone that is prescribing you, is an herbalist prescribing you something without looking at your history and what you're on, please pause and take a look. But hawthorn berry is great. If you want to just come and talk to me about it before just picking it up, I've helped several people get off statins, get off blood thinners, get off their heart medicine. Now, if you've had a triple bypass surgery and you have a pacemaker, completely different story. But if you're having starting issues, or you've got a couple steps towards having heart issues, we can help reverse it. And I love to see people say, like, I have a client who was on metformin, and she started taking a couple of things, mainly the moringa oil that I made from the gift that I got from one of the people that come here. And because she started taking the moringa oil, moringa is the tree of life, the life source, it started cleaning up her blood and it helped her A1C lower so much so that she got off of metformin.
Wow. Amazing.
And her liver is so much happier.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what classes do you teach here at Your Cosmic Connection?
Yeah, I'm going to do a second round of the 7-part series on the chakras, the 7 major chakras and herbs that can help heal it. So we get to make a tincture or oil infusion. We get to learn a little mythology and the connection that the chakras have together. It's totally beginners. I don't get deep with any of this stuff just because it's a lot, especially when you don't have a base. Or if you do have a base, it's kind of good to have a refresher. And that'll start in January. But my next class is today, and that's on the crown chakra. You can show up. It starts at 12:30 if you want it soon. I made a chicken tortilla soup, all organic stuff. And then my next class is called Tea with Junebug. That's where we discuss everything healthy and what you may be wanting help with or dealing with. And that's on November 12th, which is a Wednesday at 10 a.m. It usually runs about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but we get to make I bring all these different beautiful herbs, and then I give you a little history about what each one does spiritually and physically, and then you get to make your own blend.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then if someone wants to have private consultation,
just give me a call at that number and we'll schedule something.
Okay, and what is the price range? So
for consults, it's $40. It usually can run about an hour. Worst case scenario, 2 hours. I've seen them as short as 20 minutes. And if you're just wanting advice, that's like 5-10 minutes. I'm not going to charge you for that. But if you're asking me to find out like why this is happening or why this drug is making you feel woozy, I'm gonna need to charge you for it because I have to take the time and research, and that takes time away from. I'm in 3 stores, so my products are in 3 stores right now, and keeping up with that, and then my clients, and then teaching, I have to maintain my schedule for sure.
Yeah. I see in the future somehow where, because this is so amazingly educational, this conversation. I learned a lot in this. I don't know how
I learned a couple things from you too.
How long we've been here? An hour and a half.
Oh, I gotta get going to class.
Right. And then somehow if you maybe would be sharing this, monthly somewhere for a broader audience.
Right.
Because this is so what's the word? Valuable.
Right.
This all information, because this is just the base, not just, but this is the base for our whole existence.
It's a whole bunch of information coming out to this way.
And you're just channeling, you're just the information just coming through, and it's like, again, everything is divinely aligned, and whatever the information came through and who's watching it or watching later, it's like for everyone, because we're tapped into the quantum field, and whoever's wishes, desires, and needs are there, and they're thinking about it, it's like, this channel, this information through you, it just covers, I believe it covers a lot.
I do too. I think whenever I can get through to somebody without forcing it, because I do believe in free will, it's fabulous to see someone change what they're doing with their body. And I met a young man named Josh, and he's been coming to your Cosmic Connection, and he's an herbalist as well. He's very young, but he's got so much deeper recall of the science, because that was what he was like completely immersed in, and he brings that, and so we're figuring out how to work together on that. So I love to see young people come into this and have such a vast knowledge already, and have the hunger to like create and elevate a product. Mine is old school, whereas his is modern take on herbalism, and I think that pairing together would be wonderful if he's willing and wants to do that. We've talked about it. He's just as busy though. Yeah. Well, thank you. This is phenomenal conversation. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to attend your class in an hour. Right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you learned a lot. I definitely did. And please reach out to Jen if you have any questions, and I'm gonna put all the links in the comments. All right. And we are complete. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, thank you. That was yours.
I know.
So coming. So
I'm very aware of how much stuff.
It's fantastic.
I get the energy if it's too much.
No, I was like, casserole. Oh, I was like, I need to remember.
And we're not even talking that real deep in herbs and the history of them or the mythology of them or in
Yeah.
the Native American. If I could have talked for like,
I think that could be. I would definitely would want to. I'll take your mic. I would definitely want to talk about that. And
Yeah.
have like.
Well, I want to teach on that. I want to start with Lemurians and Atlanteans. They were the ones that actually had conscious conversations with herbs.
Oh.
And how they saved herbs for future generations when Atlantean sank.